In this lesson, I want to quickly run through the HTML. So the basic HTML structure that I'm using to build this website is fairly straightforward. So what we're using is doc type to indicate what type of document it's going to be. So this is an HTML5 document. We're also going to be using HTML tags opening and closing. So language is English, header, open and close head tags, open and close body tags. So of course the head tags are where we contain our meta information, and if you notice we've got one called viewport here. So this is very important when we're creating mobile websites because this allows us to scale it as a ratio to the device width. And our initial scale is 1. So sometimes if you go to a mobile site, you might see that the writing is really small, and that's because they don't have the viewport meta information there. So always include this when you're designing mobile responsive websites. And then here we've just got author and title. So this is just some standard meta information here within the head and the body. So we're all ready to go to start building out our website. So whatever contents we place in our body, and we're going to be building out that body structure throughout the course, and we're going to finalize it by building out our finalized product or website. So when building out a website, what we need to do is we need to start with a plan. So just like with anything, if we want to accomplish a goal, we need to lay out what we're going to do and how we want it to look. So this is where I'm going to be using Glyphy in order to create a really rough estimate of what I want my website to look like. So I do want to build a responsive website, so it's going to look different on different size screens, but we're going to start with what we want it to look like as a desktop version. And of course you can use any tool you want here in order to create the different layouts. So again, this is going to be really rough, so sometimes you might want to take a little bit more time on this. So basically this is just going to be a head information, so heading information. I'm going to put a main contact, so this is going to be a 2-column website, and it's going to have all of its main content here. So maybe this will just say content. So my core content is going to go there, and I'm going to have a footer here at the bottom. So I'm going to just type footer here, and then I'm going to have some menu items here. So maybe we're going to start out with designing 3 menu items. So we're going to have 1 menu item, 2 menu items, and 3 menu items. And again, this is just really rough right now, so we're just trying to get a general idea. So maybe we want to even space these out, and it doesn't look like these are the right size, but this is just a general overview of what we want it to look like, so that we could add in contents for these menu items as needed as well. So I'm going to just move it around, and yeah, we're going to probably place some spacing in here. And of course, if you're doing a really proper design, especially if you're doing it for clients, you're going to want to use something where everything is aligned and so on. So you want to make a really nice presentation if you're designing a website for somebody else. But if you're just designing it just to practice, then you could do a fairly rough one here. So I'm just fixing it up quickly, and I'm going to using the grid here to lay it out and present it so that things are even. And so this is our general idea of the website that we're going to build out. So responsive design, and when we shrink it down, we're going to have maybe something that looks different. So maybe we could shrink it down to have contents here. So we would have a mobile area, so I can shift this one over here and maybe do our heading there, and then below that, so we would have the navigation shifting over here, so we'd have the 3 navigation items there. So maybe I can write that out, so that would be the nav, this would be the header, because we do ideally want to have all of the columns placed properly and taking up the full width. So that means that also for our main content area, we would want it to shift in here and take up full width as well. And then lastly, of course, our footer, so where we want our footer to end up. So let's just put a placeholder there for the footer. And then of course, so this would be content, and then this would be footer. So So once we have our general idea of what we want it to look like, and with Glyphy we can change some colors around to spice it up a little bit, and we've got a lot of really neat options here as well to design this out quickly. So that's our mobile view, and this is going to be our desktop view. So let's get started building out the website in the next lesson.